Hey everybody, on February 21st, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported that the Oakland Athletics had put offers on 4 sites in the Las Vegas Strip region area. Now, to those who saw that and think that's new information, it's not. The Review-Journal quoted, quote, a team representative, unquote. Well, guess what? 4 weeks ago, Oakland Athletics president Dave Kaval came on my show and said exactly the same thing. So I've beaten the Review-Journal by 4 weeks. They could have simply said, hey, Zennie Abraham reported this, right? But just showing you how some folks are. Here is Dave Kaval on my show 4 weeks ago.
Shift to Las Vegas in that context, because are we still on a dual path?
Parallel paths, yes. They're going on every day. There's negotiations and conversations happening in Southern Nevada at the same time as we're pursuing Oakland. I think one of the key things, and Major League Baseball has been super clear about this, is we need to bring this to a resolution this year as soon as possible. We have a final handful of sites in Las Vegas in the resort corridor that are pretty exciting, and we're in the process of negotiating. We've made offers on some of those parcels. We've done a lot of work on market feasibility, and we've been engaging the public elected officials on ways to work together in a partnership. So that's progressing as well, and there's momentum there. And I think at the end of the day, the key thing here is to bring this to a resolution and get the A's in a new building as soon as possible.
The magic question is, what's the timeline? What's the timetable to saying, okay, we were going to build here, if that's the case? Or is that tied in some kind of way with what happens in Oakland?
They're tied together, and we're working very closely with Major League Baseball to, keep everything on a parallel path, to ensure that progress is being made in both markets, and to also ensure that we get to a binding agreement in either market. I think there's been so many conversations and things of that nature. We have to get to the point where you can put a shovel in the ground in either location, and that's critically important for the A's future.
Now, I know you did a number of studies. What have you learned about Las Vegas that now that you can talk about that you didn't know before?
Yeah, so we commissioned CSL Legends out of Dallas, and they did an incredible market feasibility report on the Southern Nevada market, way more robust than we initially thought in terms of the local marketplace. I think you can see that with the Raiders and the Golden Knights and the Aviators. So I think the market itself can easily support a team if it's done well, if the stadium's in the right location. And that is really important because we needed to see that there would be support of sponsors, of season ticket holders, and things of that nature. So that was a big effort that occurred over the last 3 to 4 months. And it's good to have that positive input on the market.
Now, in terms of other criteria for the site, are you also looking at caliche? Because I remember when the Raiders were looking at land, where Allegiant Stadium is now was originally considered to be difficult because you had to really dynamite that. You do. It has a price tag associated with it. Is that something else that you found as well? And also there's this groundwater one-off issue that tends to plague certain buildings around there?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working with some local construction firms on costing in the Southern Nevada marketplace, Las Vegas. And the issues that you brought up, the groundwater, obviously the caliche soil, are really important to understanding the cost basis. And so those are things that are ongoing. I remember going out to the Aviator Stadium, Las Vegas ballpark, and seeing when the explosions were happening because they had to bust up the soil because it's so hard, the rock basically. So I think that'll be something we'll have to contend with in that marketplace, and you just have to plan for it and do it appropriately.
So basically, in terms of scaling, though, you are further ahead in Oakland. You've got a design already. You've got the land and everything else. But in Las Vegas, are you finding that you're basically getting to where you would be faster? In other words, in terms of a design and land, because of the way Las Vegas jurisdictionally is laid out?
Yeah, it's just, things move faster there. There is no environmental impact report. It's just a different kind of business climate. So, we've gained a lot of momentum there over the last, several months. And now that we have a better sense of the market feasibility, We're focused on site selection, and then obviously a partnership with the elected officials in the community. So that's progressing on its own pace with momentum. And at the same time, we're progressing in Oakland and hoping that we can continue to bring these votes forward in a positive way as soon as possible. Because obviously we can't afford delays anywhere, really.
Begs two questions. First of all, are you working with a developer partner that may be a billionaire? A, and B, where are you in terms of using some type of public contribution, public money, be it tax increment finance or any type of combination of financing?
That's still in the early stages in Las Vegas. We've been really focused on getting the final site, because the site actually would dictate some of the different financing options and underwriting ways you do it. So I think that'll shake out over the next couple months in a more concrete way. And then, we've talked to a variety of different partners, whether they're resorts or casino operators or individuals. But right now we're focused on being the lead on the project, and I think it'll continue in that fashion for the foreseeable future.
So what in the Las Vegas province you look at in terms of deadlines and timetables, where do you want to see, where you and Major League Baseball want to be when?
Well, I think this is a critical year. We have to bring, especially with, we only have a lease at the Coliseum through 2024. That facility is 10 years past its useful life. We're kind of hanging on there. And so we have to get resolution this year. We have to know what our direction is. We need to know if the city mothers and fathers in Oakland would approve a project that we proposed and spent 5 years on and tens of millions of dollars. And then by the same token, we need to know what options exist in Las Vegas and the meaningful timeline there. So that's what we're working on every day. We have a team of people working in both markets to establish that. We're working hand in hand with Major League Baseball. We keep them updated on a weekly basis, and we'll do what we can to advance it as soon as possible and keep everyone informed on where we are.
And regarding Oakland coming,
the real question is, why would that news item appear in the Review Journal just 2 days after the final environmental impact report hearing the city of Oakland held regarding Howard Terminal? Actually, 4 days. And why would that be put out by a team representative? I think the Athletics are trying to explain to the city of Oakland that they are not only still in negotiations in Las Vegas, they're getting more serious, but they're at the same level of seriousness that they were 4 weeks ago, and that's the information that I'm adding. The Athletics are also saying that they're not happy with the pace of progress with the stadium. They're still, and the one thing they didn't receive was the estimate for tax increment financing revenue for the enhanced infrastructure financing district, which the city of Oakland now says they were exploring forming after having had the California legislature and California Governor Gavin Newsom sign into law SB 293 Skinner October 11th of 2019, which, if the city had handled the matter in a timely fashion, would have led to the formation of an enhanced infrastructure financing district already and establishment of a public financing authority and completion of a infrastructure financing plan, including community benefits. All that should have been done by now. So as far as I'm concerned, people don't like that I've said this, but I'll say it again. The Athletics have a right to be upset. The city of Oakland's pace, or lack thereof, is atrocious. Subscribe to Zennie62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com.